So, in this session, I will talk about the importance of political science as an optional and why we should take political science. So, is there any specific advantage of taking political science and how political science is different from other optionals? So, whether really this optional helps us to get good marks or not, and what is the present trends in UPSC, right? So, I will try to cover all these issues in this session. So, before starting this session, I want to mention something about the optional. So, when a UPSC candidate or when a UPSC aspirant should start optional subject, and what is the importance of optional subject in your entire what you call a success, all right? So, remember, if you take your UPSC preparation, optional has, see here it is irrespective of any optional, optional has a weightage of 500 marks. The weightage of optional is 500. So, what is the minimum score that is required to get a rank, right? So, obviously if you take your what you call total marks. So, nowadays any candidate I am talking about the general category, right? General category candidates scoring around 800 marks, getting something around 800, right? And what you call coming to this category, that is the reserved candidates getting around 650, all right? So, at an average, right, including essay paper, all right, you can score around, that is, think that at an average every candidate, say in essay paper, so what is the average score that a candidate can score in essay paper? So, basically any first attempter, they can score, they are scoring around 70 to 80 marks, right? But to get rank, you should be above 100. So, this is possible for any candidate, even a first attempter, all right? GS paper 1, all right? So, even last year, so some of my students, they got around 90 plus marks in their first attempt. The one who gave their first mains, they got around 90 plus marks. That is in GS paper 1, in GS 2, all right? A ranker should get around 110, GS 3 again it is around 100 plus marks, and GS 4, right, if you want to be in what you call a good marks are around 110 to 120. That means combinedly in the entire GS papers, in all the GS papers, any candidate can score around what you call 500 marks. If you add, it will be something around 500 or 500 plus. So, this is common thing. This is common thing for every candidate. Now, what makes difference? What makes difference in your success? Ultimately, what we want is marks to get a rank in UPSC. Alright? So, now the left out thing is your optional subject. The left out is your optional subject. Alright? Now, to have a success in UPSC, you should get at least 260 or 270 marks in optional subject. 260 to 270 marks in optional subject. So, now we should choose an optional that fetches us this 260 to 270 marks. Now, what are the optionals? That ensures or where you can score this 260 plus marks. A safe optionals in UPSC. A safe optionals, right, where you can have success. Right? So nowadays the trend is going between political science, anthropology, sociology. To be frank to say, it is in these optionals, right, most of the candidates, most of the successful candidates, right, they are from these optionals. So not only this, if you look at the marks, if you look at the scoring patterns in 2024 mains, right, in 2024 mains, even, right, the candidates with science optionals, the candidates from technology, that is even BTech candidates. So there are good scores. There are good scores even in sciences as well as in from engineering. Right. So that is what the present trend is. So here I am not saying that you should not take BTech. You should not take engineering optionals. You have civil, mechanical, electrical, but along with this is mathematics. So there were days, in last maybe in 2015 to 2018, right, there were students who scored marks, right. So a student who scored marks, right, even by using mathematics. So one thing I want to make it clear, that is, if you are taking maths optional or if you are taking engineering optionals, right, ensure that you are competing with IITians, because the competition will be from IITians. You need to overcome them, right. So most of the people, right, so they might have done their engineering, but coming into competition, right, so you should compete with IITians. So if you are able to compete with them, then take these engineering optionals. But if you want to be in safe side, do take humanities. Alright. So humanities are those subjects where you can score average marks. If you take mathematics or engineering, the marks will be extremes. I wrote 7 mains exams, I know. Even I am from a BTech background. Even I am from an engineering background. So if you want to be in safe side, do take humanities and do follow the trend of UPSC. Some people might be having different thoughts. Right? Say for example, taking some optionals like psychology. Even when I was writing my UPSC, we used to have 2 optionals, and one of my optional subject is psychology. Alright. So do follow right, the UPSC trend. So the present trend in UPSC is political science, anthro, sociology. Then comes the options like public administration or psychology or philosophy or whatever it may be. So the first 3 options that I have talked is the trending optionals, right. So in this, now why we should take political science as an optional? Alright. So for last 10 years, that is almost all from 2013 till date, from 2013 to 2025. So, alright, political science has been more encouraged by UPSC. So first of all, the encouragement is from UPSC. Now how UPSC encourages? Do you think that UPSC will really recommend a particular optional? Now how can we say that? How can we say that UPSC is encouraging? So one way is the nature of questions asked. Second way is the amount of marks awarded. It is purely based upon the nature of question paper. The nature of question paper and the amount of marks. Alright. So this is the first thing that we should consider. So if you look at the question paper of UPSC, if you look at the question paper of PSIR in UPSC, 80% of the questions are straightforward. There is no hiccups in the questions. There are no twists and turns. Right? questions are directly asked based upon the syllabus. The questions are not beyond syllabus. So 80% of the questions, they are within the syllabus and they are restricted to a basic level. In fact, in 2025 mains exam, alright, out of 28 questions asked in paper 1, so we have what you call two papers, paper 1, paper 2. So that is paper 1 deals with the political theory as well as the Indian government and politics. Paper 2 deals with what you call IR and what you call India and bilateral relations. So in paper 1, out of 28 questions, 16 questions have come from the class. That is those questions which are dictated in the class. Alright, from that what you call dictated questions, 16 questions have come. So this is what the first evidence. So if you are good in syllabus, see, I am not saying that, I don't say that I am predicting question paper. If you are good in syllabus, if you are good in basics, and if you have the ability of framing a question from every topic that you read, say for example, when you read a topic, and if you have the ability of making a question from that topic, right, and if you keep on making questions and answers, definitely no question in UPSC will miss from you. If you read 100 topics, alright, frame 300 questions from these 100 topics, write answers from them, write answers for each of these questions that you have framed, and see the exam. You will get at least 50% of the questions that you have prepared. It is not, see, if you are really sincere and serious, right, this can happen. And this is what the funda is in UPSC exam. So, if you make a set of question and answers for each and every chapter that is mentioned in the syllabus, if you prepare a set of question and answers for each and every word that is given in the syllabus, alright, your UPSC mains will be within your hand. When compared to prelims, mains is the easiest part. So, alright, the questions asked in what you call in PSIR, they are simple and straightforward when compared to other optionals. Because even I see the question papers in political science, that is I compare question papers of political science with PubAd, psychology, sociology and other optionals. So because I am for last 15 years, I am in this teaching field. So when compared to all the optional subjects, right, the questions in political science are very simple. Now that is the reason why when question paper is simple, when question paper is straightforward, any serious candidate, alright, they can score marks. That is the reason why, alright, the marks awarded are, it is always around 260. In last 10 years, you have almost all 3 to 4 years first rankers from political science. Even the what you call the 2024 the first ranker from what you call political science. Now what is the reason? There is an added advantage. The advantage is you are getting good marks. So this is how we can say that, UPSC is encouraging this kind of optional. That is, it is encouraging political science like optionals. Alright, so this is first reason of why we should take political science. Alright, so that means every question that is asked in UPSC, you can find answer in your own classroom. You can find answer in your own notes. So, right, that means if you are good in your basic books, if you follow the basic textbooks, if you follow your class notes or the class material, it is more than enough to get marks and to get the to write the answers. Alright, so this is one advantage. Now, when you are preparing for UPSC exam, the most important thing is you need to balance your preparation. You need to balance your GS preparation as well as your optional preparation. I'll take my own example. I'll take my own example because most of the people don't know about me. So when I was writing exam, that is from 2005 to 2010, I wrote all the mains exams. That means I wrote 7 mains exams. So when we were writing UPSC, we used to have 7 attempts for OBC candidates. So I am from OBC category. So I wrote all the mains. In my first optional, my marks were 372. In my second optional, my marks were 328. My essay marks were 117. My interview marks were 156. When we add these marks, right, I am 20 marks ahead of 18th ranker. Right, in 2008, it was Harikiran who got 18th rank. He was one of my, he was in my friend circle. I was 20 marks more than 18th ranker. Alright, so when I combined all these marks, but here I am not, here in this I have not added my GS marks. The difference between my optional mark, that is except GS, in all other papers I am ahead of 18th ranker. In both the papers of GS I got 164. Where, alright, a ranker got 320 plus marks. Because I was focusing more on optionals. My total focus was on optional because I want to hit my marks in optionals. And in that process, so I got these marks in my 4th attempt. In 2008, I lost service just by 2 marks. Alright. So that means the lesson that you can learn from my experience is you need to balance your preparation. GS is equally important. GS is equally important as that of optional, and you should choose such an optional which should help your GS preparation. There should not be a separate, or you should not burden yourself. You should not burden yourself, right, in GS preparation. That means your optional should help you in your GS marks, in your GS mains. So choose such an optional where your optional helps your GS preparation, and the best optional that will help you in your GS preparation is political science. Alright, with the knowledge of political science, alright, outrightly 70% of GS paper 2, right, if you take GS paper 2, the 70% of if you take GS paper 2, you have polity, governance and IR. Alright, you can answer all the questions of polity because polity is a part of political science. Paper 1, section B of political science. Paper 1, section B of political science, it deals with. So, paper 1, section B of political science deals with the polity. The entire polity is covered. So, no need to have a separate preparation for your polity. No need to have a separate preparation for polity. Alright, the same content, the same books, and here in political science, you will have a more an analytical preparation for polity. In GS, you will only collect the facts. The difference between GS preparation and optional preparation is, in GS, it is more about facts and less amount of analysis. But coming to your optional preparation, in optional, right, you will be having more analytical understanding of the concepts. Alright, so I'll take, of course, so we have polity and you have IR. Out of 20 questions asked in GS paper 2, right, you can expect 6 to 7 questions from polity and almost the same number, that is 6 to 7 questions from the IR paper. So you can answer 140 out of 200 marks. Right, you can, 140 out of 250 in GS paper 2. So because we are not concerned with governance, polity and IR. So you can answer with the knowledge of political science. So political science will help you to answer both these sections. And even if you are smart enough, you can answer at least 2 to 3 questions from governance also, because there are topics in governance which are again connected in what you call with this optional subject, that is with political science. So we have statutory bodies, constitutional bodies, alright, the political system, what you call role of media, public policy. So all these are the topics which are connected with political science. That means you can answer around 2 to 3 questions. That is, you can answer around 30 marks. That means out of 250, you can answer 170 marks in GS paper 2. So that is the help of political science in GS paper 2. Similarly, if you take GS paper 1, in GS paper 1, you can answer almost all 50 to 60 marks with the knowledge of political science. So this is one thing in GS. So in GS paper 1, you can answer 60 marks. In GS paper 2, you can answer 170 marks. In GS paper 3, of course, the contribution of PSIR in GS paper 3 is somewhat less when compared to other GS papers. Alright, so hardly 20 or 30 marks. So let it be what you call 20 marks. And coming to the paper 4, that is the ethics paper. Alright, so now coming to ethics paper, right, with the knowledge of political science, you can answer almost all 100 marks in ethics. Alright, there are certain topics which are common to both ethics as well as PSIR. Alright, so that means if you take the 4 GS papers, the contribution of PSIR in these 4 GS papers is, it is almost all 130, 150, so 350 marks without essay. It is without essay. Alright, and if you are good in optional, alright, here it is 610. If you can score 260 in political science, alright, so without essay you can score 610 marks. Alright, that means safely you will be in. Safely you can see your name in the successful candidate list of UPSC. So this is the basic advantage. This is a basic advantage of what you call a political science optional. So here with least efforts, you can score good marks. You can be safe in UPSC mains. Alright. So this is the most important advantage of political science optional. Alright. So the advantage lies in helping your GS preparation. Alright. So another point is the amount of what you call content that you have. The amount of content, alright, that you have in political science. Alright. So if you take this optional, it will help you to get clarity, alright, in understanding your current affairs. Alright, political science is such an optional which will help you in your what you call current issues, that is current affairs. Alright, it will help you to understand the ongoing issues. Say today we all talk about wars and conflicts. Right? Today do we have wars and conflicts or not? So wars and conflicts is a common thing in the present day world. Now whether these wars and conflicts, how do they help or what is their impact? Now how to see these wars and conflicts? How countries sees, how each country views these wars. Why some countries, right, why some countries are behind the wars. Say for example, why Ukraine war is too prolonged? Now is there any a specific interest in that? Is there any specific interest in prolonging this Ukraine war? Alright. So now these are the kind of issues. Here and then we talk about UN. UN like what you call institutions. Here and then we talk about globalization. So these are the common words that we see in our daily life. In our daily life we come across. So recently, alright, which state has concluded elections? Alright, it is Bihar. Alright, so we have seen Bihar witnessing elections. They, what to call a new, what to call the existing government again regained the power. Alright, now what are different factors that influences political system? What are different factors that will influence elections in India? Now, can we say that there is a role of caste in politics? Do caste plays a role in politics? Yes or no? Role of caste, region, religion, do they have any impact? Yes. Alright, I'll ask one question. Alright, I'll ask one question. If you take this what you call voter turnaround or the participation of voters in the elections, alright, in comparison between urban areas and rural areas, where there is more participation? Where there is more participation? So, participation is more in rural areas when compared to the urban areas. Rural participation is more when compared to urban. So, that is the voter behavior. Now, what is the reason for this? Low turnout in urban areas. What is the reason for what you call high turnout in urban area, what you call rural areas? Can you bring out the reasons? Hardly we see 50% of participation in urban areas, whereas the average participation is more than 70% in rural areas. So how can we explain these factors? How can we explain this voter behavior? So now if you take this voter behavior, it can be best explained by the knowledge of political science, because political science is that optional which deals with the political behavior of individuals. Right? It focuses on the human behavior. Alright? So most of the ongoing issues, you take government policies, programs, politics, elections, the global issues, all they can be best explained by using the knowledge of political science. Alright? So you will come across different types of words. Say, normally we see here and then we see the name of what you call India's foreign minister, that is Jaishankar. Alright? So he is the highest diplomat from the side of India. Alright? Do film actors have any role in promoting relations? Can we regard the sports persons or film actors as a diplomats? Can we regard them as diplomats? Sometimes we see other countries organizing Indian festivals. Alright, officially they organize Indian festivals. Now, in what way these festivals, the cultural events, the sports, do they have any role in promoting what you call country to country relations? Yes or no? So we have track 1 diplomacy, track 2 diplomacy, track 2.5 diplomacy, track 3, track 4. So we have different types of diplomacies, different forms of diplomacies, formal, informal. Alright? So that means by the knowledge of political science, you can understand, right, different types of terms, different words. Alright? So that is another what we call advantage. That is the another advantage of political science. Alright? Next thing, do political science really requires, alright, number of books to be read? Most of the people, do you have the habit of reading textbooks? Do you have the habit of reading textbooks really? Alright? I am talking for optional. At least have you read any textbook for your GS preparation? Alright. So I think most of you are dependent on materials. Alright. The available what you call online materials mainly. Alright. Today it is a zamana of online things. Alright. But remember, alright, to be frank to say, if you want to get good marks, always follow standard books. Always follow standard books. So each and every subject has its own standard books. Unless you have a knowledge, unless you have a direct knowledge. See, coming to these materials are supplements. You can use them only before exam, you can use them as a ready reference, you can use them for revisions. Alright. So, but to have a good amount of knowledge, good amount of subject, it requires following of basic textbooks. So similarly for political science, we have a few books. So here, if you ask me, if you can read 3 books, I don't want a candidate to burden again their preparation by reading what you call 4 to 5 books for each what you call paper. Now, if you look at the book list given by different institutions, if you look at this book list, every institution has given a list of at least 7 to 8 books for both the papers. 7 to 8 books for both the papers. But if you ask me, because right, as an aspirant, I know, alright, the burden that we have. Alright. So I have seen the entire burden of UPSC. Alright. Just to follow 3 books. It is more than enough. Read that books thoroughly. Make a notes of it. So anyhow, I'll be giving my own notes. I'll be giving my own material. And remember, every notes and every material prepared by me, it is out of standard textbooks. It is not a copy paste of Wikipedia or Google or the present ChatGPT, because most of the people today they are using ChatGPTs. And remember, ChatGPT in UPSC will harm more than it benefits you, because I have seen the kind of content, because same as you and more than you, I use AI. Alright, the kind of content that is generated through AI is misleading. It is misleading. I am open to this. Alright, so you commonly type a prompt in the what you call ChatGPT or Perplexity, whatever it may be, and you will be getting some content. It is a general content that is available to you. And when you compare the general content with the textbooks, there is a Zaman Asman Farak. So there is a huge difference. So at least, right, my sincere advice to you, to the UPSC aspirant is, do have a less dependency on AI. Don't blindly believe in AI, because right, in terms of your MCQs, in terms of the content, there is so much of misleading content. Alright. So I'll suggest 3 books and I'll suggest to follow my notes, because my notes is totally from textbooks. Alright. It is not a copy paste version. It is not a copy paste from Google or from any other what you call websites. Alright. So, and I advise every student to be thorough with the textbooks, basic books. It is essential. Alright. So this is about why we should take PSIR. So it is trending optional, it is scoring optional, it has much helpful, it has a much contribution to our GS preparation. Right? It has a least number of books. So from my side, so though there are many books advised by many institutions or rankers, but from my side, I'll advise only 3 books. So least amount of efforts, and you can have a very good score, and you can have a safe journey in UPSC. Alright. So again, my sincere advice is, never burden your UPSC preparation. Never burden your UPSC preparation. Alright. So if you keep on burdening yourself, you will never become a successful candidate. Ultimately, what should be your goal? Your goal should be to crack exam, not to become a researcher. I know every student comes with an annual plan, but even after 10 years, there won't be success. Why some people succeed within 2 or 3 years? Why some people, even after having knowledge, even after spending 5 to 10 years, why they fail in exam? So there is a different story for that. Because I have seen this journey, I have seen many people in my life. Alright? So why some people crack exam very easily? Why some people fail even after having so much of hard work? Alright? Now what could be the reason for this? Some people crack exam in their first attempt or second attempt. But even after writing 5-6 attempts, some people fail in exam. Even myself. I wrote 7 mains, I got interview calls in my 4th attempt as well as in my 6th attempt. I failed in exam. Now what could be the reason for this? Prelims is a cakewalk for me. Prelims was a cakewalk for me. Now what is the reason for this? The basic reason why a UPSC aspirant fail is lack of the perfect strategy. Every candidate who is coming to UPSC exam, they are very good hard workers. No one chooses UPSC, no one wants to become IAS without hard working. Everyone works. Everyone has the habit of working for 10 hours, 12 hours. And sometimes some people I have seen, including me, in my 4th attempt I used to work for 18 hours. Because in my first 3 attempts I could not get interview call. Even after writing my first 3 mains I could not get interview call. Now definitely there will be more pressure on me. I need to work hard, work more to get that interview call. So it is unavoidable. You cannot avoid it. Interview call రావాలంటే వర్క్ చేయాలి తప్పదు. కొన్నిసార్లు తప్పదు 18 hours, 19 hours. I still remember my 4th attempt days. I used to sleep in once in 2 days. అందుకనే I got 372, 328 in optional subjects. ఉత్తరం రాలేదు మార్కులు అవి. రైట్? ఎందుకు ఫెయిల్ అవుతామంటే lack of strategy. 99% of candidates fail because of lack of strategy. కష్టపడతారు అందరూ. సక్సెస్ ఎందుకు రాదంటే we don't know where to start our preparation, right? How to continue our preparation, where to stop, where to start our revisions, the kind of practice, what kind of practice, ఇవన్నీ ఎవరికి తెలియదు. No one knows about all these things. ఒకటే తెలుసు, కోచింగ్ పోవాలి, టైం ఉంటే పుస్తకాలు పట్టుకొని చదువుకోవాలి. This is what people do. People only know of reading what is with them. And in South India, particularly in Hyderabad, what we do is, we keep on reading. We read more number of books, we read more number of material. Alright? Now just answer one question, whether first attempter has more knowledge or a 4th attempter has more knowledge. In terms of content, in terms of what you call knowledge, who has more content and knowledge? Whether a first attempter or a 4th attempter? Obviously, 4th attempt means it is 5 years of preparation, 5 to 6 years of preparation, might have read all the books, all the content, all the material, might know everything. But why a first attempter is successful? Now what is the reason for their success? Do you think that UPSC is a test of content? Do you think that UPSC is a test of what you call your knowledge? I got my first interview call in my 4th attempt. Even after writing that is, I wrote 3 months earlier. So when I went to what you call the answer writing program, right, my God, I always regard my teacher as a God. Sunil Gupta Sarani, he was my what you call my guide in UPSC preparation. And from our classroom we got first rank in that year. My classroom 2009 first rank, it was from my classroom. And I got highest marks in optional. Right? The reason is, he said one thing, stop focusing on gathering content, focus more on answer presentation. UPSC is not a test of information. UPSC is not a test of content. Even with 40 to 50% of content, you can be successful. You can have a success in UPSC. It all depends upon how you are presenting your answer, how you are presenting your content, how you are presenting your knowledge. 50% of content, and even I say not even 50%, because I have seen in my circle, alright, even candidate with 30% of content got ranks. So UPSC is not about gathering content. UPSC is not about what you call by-hearting information. It is about how you are presenting your knowledge to the evaluator, because the medium between you and the UPSC is your way of presentation, the way in which you are presenting your content. That is very important. Answer presentation. 99% of UPSC candidates doesn't focus on this point. They are very good readers. They are very good bookmongers, but they fail. The reason is you don't know what to write, you don't know how to present your answer. I have seen one ranker in 2023, right? She got 311 rank. She got 298 in optional. But when basically we see the candidate from the beginning, right? Her content was not even 50%. The amount of content that she had is not even 50%. Even she was not having what you call a very good basics, but she got 298. What is the reason for that? How you are presenting yourself is very important. How you are presenting your answer is very important. See, I ensure that, right? Definitely we can. See, I know how to make a question. I know what kind of questions will be asked from the topic. Say for example, if I teach something, I have a habit of giving the questions. When I teach something, immediately I will frame a question on that. Right? I know how to frame a question, and if you keep on framing questions, and if you can write very good answers, where to apply current affairs, where to apply paper 1 in paper 2. So it is all about your presentation, your application. Application of paper 1 in paper 2 is essential. Application of current affairs in paper 2 is essential. How you are applying, how you are presenting, in what format you are writing your answers. So all these factors, they play an important role. They play an important role in your answers. If you are good in answer presentation, if you are good in application, right? Particularly if you are good in applying theory in practice, applying paper 1 in paper 2, I am challenging, you won't get not less than 280. I have seen candidate not even with 50% getting 298 marks. Alright, so and to complete this entire syllabus of political science, I'll take not more than 350 hours. So it is maximum, that is 6 months is maximum amount of time. So the last batch I started in on June 23rd, and I'm going to complete this batch in by this November 30th. So almost all 4 to 5 months of time. Though I say it as 6 months, but still, alright, I'll complete the syllabus within 6 months. Maybe it is 4 months or 5 months. So sometimes I take class for 2 hours, 3 hours or 4 hours, depending upon the requirement, depending upon the time availability. Alright, because I want the student to focus more on answer writing. More than classroom lecture, my focus will be on answer writing and presentation, because it is this which will fetch you marks. Alright, if you are good in answer writing, definitely, right, your graph in UPSC will be high. Alright, so with this point, I will start the session, and if you want to, if you want to talk to me, alright, I'll post my number in the what you call group. You can have a chat with me, right, and clear your doubts, right? And if anyone want to ask any kind of doubt now, so coming to notes, right? Once I complete the topic, so basically once in 2 or 3 days, once in 2 days or 3 days, I'll keep on posting the notes, right? The periodicity of giving the notes will be for 2 or 3 days, right? And normally I want every student to take what you call a running notes, because I don't have the habit of dictating notes, because I feel dictating notes is a most of time wasting process. I'll provide a complete handouts, and remember, for each and every chapter I have a set of question and answers, and I challenge, it is from that question and answers you will get 50% of the questions in mains. This year mains I have made 100 questions for paper 1, 100 questions for paper 2, and in both these two, out of these 200, almost all 16 plus 5, 21 questions have come in mains exam. 16 in paper 1 and 5 in paper 2. Alright. So, coming to notes, so that is what my style, that is, I require every student to maintain what you call running notes. Along with running notes, there will be what you call a classroom printed notes. A document will be given to you. A PDF will be given to you once in 2 days. Okay then, very soon I'll start the optional, maybe in 2 or 3 days. Okay then, I'll start the session here. We'll meet in next session.